Greetings, hello, and welcome in to State of the Tigers here on Monday evening, PowerMizzou.com. We're still doing it for the first time in 7 months. We got no games to talk about. No football game, no basketball game. No offense, we're not doing softball previews on this show. So I'm not even going to call you guys idiots because if you are here this time of year, you are the diehards. We don't want to be insulting to anybody. We appreciate you all. And Jason Franken called you idiots for us. So, Jason, appreciate it. Welcome to everybody. Questions, comments, everything you want in the chat. We will be brought to you. Look, we're still going to do this all off season. I'm not going to promise every Monday night, but most Monday nights we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do the sports movie talk. We're going to do probably a little NCAA tournament memories here in the next week or two, maybe before the national title game, all of that. But we're going to be brought to you every single time by our friend James Carlton at State Farm Insurance in Webster Groves, Missouri. He's my insurance agent for my cars. He's Drew King's insurance agent. Drew has put him to more use than I have in the past few months, but James has still done very good things for me and saved me a lot of money. And if you want to save money, check him out at carltoninsurance.net. Give him a call at 314-961-4800. Drew is here. The season is over. You don't have to, your car does not have to hit the road for a few months. And we survived one more.
Yes, and I promised to get through tonight's show without crying. So hello, everybody.
There you go. I make no promises, man. I still honestly, I still feel like I just kind of floating through the last 3 days without knowing where I am. I've talked about this and I've wrote about it some. It is so abrupt when a basketball season ends in the NCAA tournament. Like it feels like it requires kind of a grieving period over. It's almost like you watch those next 2 days of basketball and it's like the process of figuring out, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore for another 8 months.
Yeah, it's like Saturday was, I think, the second time in probably the last 5 months where I had nothing going on, right? I didn't have a game that I either had to be at or needed to get ready for, like it was in the next couple of days or something like that. And I say that was the second time. The first time was last Saturday after the SEC tournament. So, it's definitely weird because you get into a routine, and then it's just kind of over, and now you got to figure out what to do with all your spare time.
Yeah. Ryan Keenan, appreciate the super chat. Always we'll get those on the screen and give you a shout out during the show. And it's so weird because football season is like it is months and months of buildup. And then it's just like before you look up, it's over. In college basketball, there is not like, people will do the portal and all that, but like there's not 5 months of shows of like, hey, what do we think about let's rank the point guards in this conference and all that. And it almost starts so gradually that like I feel like most people don't really hit it until about bragging rights, but then it somehow seems to last longer than football season because you do play 2 days a week and something's happening. Even if your team isn't playing, somebody's playing, and it seems like it's every day for about 3.5 months, and then it's gone.
Right, like the twice a week thing during conference play, like you only get at most 2 or 3 days in between, right? And so, like you said, like, and you're doing that for, trying to think now, probably like 10 weeks,
4.5 months.
Yeah, like 10 weeks straight, in conference play at least, right? That's not even including non-conference. That's a lot, man. And like you said, it starts a little bit more gradually because it's in the middle of football season. It starts when like football season gets interesting. I think that's kind of the real issue there. And you mentioned it, like we're gonna talk about the transfer portal and everything like that, but the off season definitely feels a lot slower compared to football, for sure.
You'll appreciate this, Drew. I told my wife about an hour ago. I was like, "Yeah, we got to do a show at 7:00." She's like, "You're still doing those? What are you going to talk about?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll find stuff." I said, "Transfer portal opens in 2 weeks," and she goes, "The transfer portal? Fuck! I don't even have anything to do with it, and I hate it." So I figured you would appreciate that.
Yes.
Guys, we're going to get into it. I'm sure we'll talk about it some tonight. But it is the resilience of sports fans has hit me again. Like Friday night was, the worst thing ever, and the weekend was terrible and all that. And now it already is what's going on with Quentin Coleman and who we get in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is, and I promise I'm not making fun of anybody. It's like it is the cycle of a sports fan, right? You build yourself up, and then it ends so fast, and it's just like, all right, man, what's the next dopamine hit? Let's go. Let's find the thing that's going to erase that.
And I think the transfer portal specifically has kind of fueled into that because it's become free agency for college basketball, right? And everybody loves the transactions of it all, and it's really fun to think about. Like, I wonder how this guy would fit on this team. So yeah, like I kind of get it because that is how the calendar is set up, but it is jarring to go from like having 100% focus on one team and then immediately turning around and saying, okay, what's next? Like that's kind of the hard part.
All right. So,
to your wife's point, Gabe, I think I sent you a text today. Like I had to turn on all my Twitter notifications for the portal, and it's my least favorite thing to do. It really is.
Yeah, no question. We've got a bunch of notifications on. All right. I do want, there's a comment I want to put up, Billy. I got it. I went back and found it. So there's a couple like big picture things I wanted to hit before we get into questions and watch Cody eat his supper and all that. So Malcolm O'Connell said, I cried also tears of joy that this godforsaken season was finally over. And like, I have a legitimate question for you, Drew, that we didn't get into at the end of the show, but you were talking about how much fun you had this season. Am I a bad like? I didn't think this team was very fun to watch, man.
No, like you're totally valid.
The games this year, I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy very much about this season. Like I know that's a crappy thing to say, and I'm not complaining about my job, anything like that. Just I have covered 24 of their 23 of these now, and just. I don't know, even the wins, like other than Oklahoma was awesome. Oklahoma was awesome. And other than that, it just, I don't know, man. It kind of felt like a little bit of Dennis's first two good teams were so fun to watch. Last year was top 3 of the most fun seasons I've ever watched, along with 08-09 and then the Frank Hayes first year. Like that team was so fun to watch. This team was a slog, man.
No, and I don't want to discredit anybody who feels that way. For me personally, though, like this was the most I ever traveled for a season. This was like the most games I've ever covered in a season. I thought that the arc of the team from going from how awful it was at bragging rights and kind of scraping itself off the floor and finding a way back to be relevant. Like I thought that was super interesting to cover. There were a lot of personalities on this team that I really enjoyed getting to interview. And so, yeah, like just from my personal experience, it was more fun than any other season that I've covered. I also feel like this was, for better or worse, like the most engaged that our message board has been in this season before. And so I really appreciated like the experience of it all. And so this team was not the most fun.
Tennessee team kind of sucked, but everything else was cool.
There was also the Tennessee win. Like that was a kind of the peak of the year. That was their Alabama last year.
the Vandy win, I don't know if I would describe it as fun, but it was exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the first of two times, by the way, Tyler Tanner missed a 55-foot
Yeah.
jump shot by an inch this year. Sorry, Billy, didn't mean to bring that up. Ryan Keenan, appreciate the super chat. I'll take the blame for Saturday's loss. I've been to 2 Mizzou games in my life. That was my first basketball game, 2017 Auburn football game. That didn't go well either, and I don't remember which one that was. I know Barry Odom was the coach. I'm sure Missouri didn't win it, but that's rough, man. An 0-2 lifetime record. Like Ryan, you got to go to one of the non-con games, man. Like go check them out. Go check them playing Mississippi Valley State next November. You got to get yourself a W.
Well, and we saw Aaron Ladd before the game against Miami, and he's like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm staying for this one." And after he left, I turned to you. I said, "That might not be a good thing." So
right, it was the Oklahoma game. He left early, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the other thing that I wanted to
shout out Aaron.
let's and let's get to Ron Davis' super chat. Okay. I was going to get to this later, but we'll get to it now. Do you think Gates will schedule a bit differently to prepare for next March? Just a game or two against a name opponent. Drew, I'll let you go first. We have both been on record. We think he should. We want him to.
Yes.
The question is, do you think he will?
So here's my thing, right? The NCAA selection committee, in terms of letting teams into the tournament, has not punished schools for scheduling easy, and it has not rewarded schools for scheduling hard. And so I feel like until that happens, I don't see Dennis Gates switching up his approach. And like maybe we'll see him pick up a extra high major game than he has in the past. Like I like to point out, like in 2024, when like he had like just a one-off against Seton Hall. He had like the home and home with Memphis and Minnesota. Yeah, like and I thought people were halfway pleased with that schedule, and maybe next year look something like that, but also like it kind of hurt them because they didn't do so well against that tough of a schedule. And so I have a hard time seeing him going significantly tougher than he has these past 2 years.
I will say this. If it doesn't happen next year, that tells me it's never going to happen. Because, like, look, a kid like Jason Crow comes to Missouri about once a decade. They had Michael Porter, 8-9 years ago. And they've had, Trayvon Bryant, they've had some Kareem Rush, McDonald's All-Americans, big time recruits. So like, it's not like it's never happens, but a kid that highly rated. And I think Jason Crow brings some Luther Burden to Missouri basketball in that, I mean, this is a kid everybody knows. Like he has followers upon followers on social media, right? He's more than just a high school athlete. Like he is known nationally, I think, to people in and out of the sport, and he's getting more and more attention. If you are not going to take this opportunity with that kid on your roster, then that tells me you're probably never going to do it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that there is an expectation when you take a kid like that you got to put him in some high profile matchups, right? And they'll always have the Kansas game. They'll always have the Illinois game. But if you're Mizzou, like this is a chance to kind of like step it up, right? Because ESPN is going to want to show Jason Crow Jr. on the #1 channel, right? Not ESPN.
I mean, like I've got an idea. You'd like a road game that you should win. What if you go out and you play Loyola Marymount in near Jason Crow's hometown?
Yeah.
UC Irvine. I don't care. Play a damn road game at UC Irvine and give Jason Crow a chance to go home. Right? I mean, it doesn't have to be completely name opponents. It just has to be Like, instead of the team that's ranked 340th, play one that's ranked 140th. And that beefs up your schedule.
And specifically, Gabe, I remember when Cade Cunningham was at Oklahoma State. I think they opened the year playing at UT Arlington because that's where Cade Cunningham was from, right? And so I feel like absolutely, like that's a perfect example of how Mizzou should approach it with Jason Crow.
Or get yourself in some sort of event out in Vegas or San Francisco or
send me them out.
Whatever.
Please send me them out.
Well, I mean, that's the easy solution, right? Actually, before the show, I looked up the Maui and the Atlantis brackets. So here's last year's Maui tournament. Let's say there was an SEC team in it. Let's say Missouri would have taken Texas's place in the Maui Invitational. They would have opened with Arizona State, then played either Chaminade or Washington State, and then probably ended up playing NC State or USC. Like, those are, I've heard of them. That's a better non-conference schedule, right? Atlantis, there was Vanderbilt played in Atlantis, and I don't have that bracket up anymore, but like there were teams, there were games that people would be interested in November and early December. Not the hardest games. You can still go out there and go 2-1, maybe even 3-0 if you're really good, but like that's all you got to do. That nobody is asking them to schedule like Auburn or Duke or Michigan State. Just a couple, man. And I don't know if they'll do it, but if they don't do it this year, that tells me they're not going to do it.
Well, and the thing is, the average Joe does not want to watch Jason Crow versus South Dakota State and South Carolina State, right? Like, you might get some sickos that are really up for those games, but I mean, that's been what the MTE has been every season so far.
Yeah.
So ESPN is not going to pick you up when you're playing against the Quad 4 teams. You got to go find somebody that has a brand name that you've heard of before, that has maybe a player or two that you've heard of before, to actually like generate some interest for people who otherwise wouldn't want to watch your game.
Right. And also it's for your fans. It's for these people who are like, yes, I'm going to buy season tickets and go to 20 games. Make one more of them worth going to.
On that note, Gabe, I was looking at Dennis Gates' contract this week. I don't know if you realize this, but there's obviously like a section where they list out what his bonuses are. Dennis Gates is eligible for a $25,000 bonus if the team generates $8 million or more in ticket revenue. I don't know if you knew that. Okay. Right. So
I wonder how close they are to that. Like, what would $8 million be? I don't even know.
I don't know either. But my point is, like, he is incentivized to get people in the building.
Right, for sure.
So he just hasn't really shown an interest in doing that, I feel like.
Right. I do want to give everybody a heads up. Cody texted me a couple minutes ago. He's going to be in here soon, so we're going to use Cody's appearance when he gets here as kind of a comic relief mid-show break, and then we'll get to your questions and comments in the chat and everything afterwards. Before Cody gets here, Drew, kind of the last big picture thing I wanted to hit on the program. Do you think we are almost exactly 12 months removed from the Drake loss? Do you feel Missouri made progress, regressed, or neither in those last 367 days?
I would say neither. I think that they're like right back in the exact same spot they were 12 months ago. And I was telling you about this too. Like, I would compare Dennis Gates to either like a Mike Tomlin or a Mike McCarthy in the NFL, right? Where you have one really good season and you deserve a lot of credit for that year. And that being Dennis Gates' first year when they won 25 games and are in the first NCAA tournament win in over a decade, right? But then you're never able to get back to that same point And I think that's what's frustrated people so much, is that he hadn't even gotten to where he was in year one yet, right? And he's brought in some really good players since then. So, I think that this was just kind of a neutral year for him.
Yeah, for the olds, there's a Dan Marino going to the Super Bowl as a rookie and never playing in it again reference there. I would say, I agree with you overall. I would say they stood still. The only reason I might lean a little bit toward regression is Mark Mitchell's not here next year.
Yeah.
And I don't know who is. So I think you could make the argument that's a small step back. Now, I think it can all be reversed if they have money to attack the portal, and that could all change. We'll get into that in the second half of the show. But I see in the waiting room, Cody Goodwin. We are actually letting his dinner get colder, so this is actually even going to be a worse experience for him than it was. Drew, this is your show. This is your this is what you have inflicted upon everyone. So I want you to set the stage, and then we'll gauge Cody's excitement level for what's about to come.
I don't like how excited Drew is about this.
Actually, let me start off with, for the record, even though Gabe picked Mizzou to lose, he did pick up some party poppers on the way to the game just in case they won. So this is one of the poppers he picked up. It's different from the usual ones.
I like the confetti. They didn't make much noise. It kind of looked like you were opening a fruit roll-up, to be honest.
Yeah,
they're not really popping, but the confetti's a nice touch.
Yeah. I think it's just. Yeah, I'll work on it for next time. Anyways, for those who may not know, I have been on an absolute tear picking games this year. I have correctly picked 15 of the Sweet 16 teams in the NCAA tournament. I picked something like 65% of SEC basketball games correctly. And earlier this year, I came in first place in the SEC football pick'em pool that also featured Gabe and Cody. And so my reward for winning the pick'em pool is that I got to hand out the punishments for the rest of the staff here at Power Mizzou. And so I gave everybody two options. I said, you can either watch a movie and do a book report on it. And it was going to be some crazy movies too.
And look, we ain't here to play school, man. That's
right. And so the other option was a throwback to my trip to Howard University in Washington, D.C., where I ordered some McDonald's on DoorDash, and my DoorDasher fell on his bike, spilled my Dr. Pepper all over the food, and I had to eat the dinner like that. And so Cody has decided that he is going to chow down on, I think, 6 chicken McNuggets and a medium fry while they're sitting in Dr. Pepper. So, Cody, welcome to the show.
So like I've got the necessary materials. I've got 6 nuggets. I got to order a 10 and 8-4 because it's been a long time since I've ordered 6. I got my fries. I've been munching on those while sitting in the back room. I have the Dr. Pepper. I have a bowl to put them in. How exactly do we want to soak these things?
I was curious, are you just dropping these things in your cup?
I mean, I've got space to drop them in the Dr. Pepper if we really want them to soak for a minute. But also, I have a clear bowl if that's what we want to go with. I don't know. I'm deferring to Drew. I have a couple options.
I think just whatever will fit everything in there. I think it's just got to soak for a little bit if we want.
I think they've got to sit there for. I'm gonna estimate if the guy crashed at the corner, that it was probably a minimum of 2.5 minutes before Drew got to him and picked up the food. So a minimum 2.5 minute bathing time for your meal.
All right. Well, I'll put them in the bowl then. So we've got 6 nuggets in the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna. I don't know if there's enough room to put all the fries. Do I need to put all the fries, or is that good?
That's fine. Yeah, I think that's all right.
All right, and then
it's in the bowl.
I'll pour the Dr. Pepper.
Can we agree this is the dumbest thing we've ever done here?
Yeah.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever done.
I can't imagine anything dumber.
I've done some dumb stuff on podcasts, but this is up there.
Well, and also, now that all podcasts are on YouTube, like all I do is strip the audio off this and put it into Apple Podcasts and
Right.
and Spotify.
All right, we're soaking.
People that
we are
love to
soaking.
see it. I love to see it.
For
Dude,
those who are watching,
I fully want you to get a spoon out and eat it like a bowl of cereal.
I don't want to do it now that I'm looking at it.
I'm telling you.
It's like Lucky Charms where you got to make sure to get a few of the marshmallows in every bite so they taste good.
Man, I don't like eat a lot of fast food either. So I'm like looking at this going.
I mean, legitimately, when I do this, and I will do it sometime in the next couple weeks, like when I do this, it will be my first meal at McDonald's. And I cannot remember the last time I ate McDonald's.
I'm a sucker for McDonald's breakfast or like fast food breakfast. Like that's where I usually eat fast food. Like I think when I was flying back from Auburn, there was a McDonald's while I was walking to my connection in Atlanta. So I stopped and got a McGriddle. But otherwise, like Chick-fil-A is probably like, and even then, like I can count on both hands how many times I've eaten fast food in the last like 12 months.
The McGriddles are low key. The syrup pockets are
yeah, that was a game changer in terms of just breakfast in general, let alone fast food breakfast.
Well, y'all are better than me. I eat at McDonald's pretty frequently. I'm a sucker for like cheap food, and I can get some good deals on the app. I think while I was in DC specifically, I think it was like free delivery because of the hotel I was staying at, so there was no delivery fee on it. But yeah, and for the record here, the movie that I told Cody he could do a book report on instead was the original Dune movie directed by David Lynch that came out in the 80s. I actually texted Cody before I sent out the email. I said, have you read the books before? He said, no. I said, okay, this is perfect because it's only going to make sense if you've read the books. So, yeah, Cody, whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Cody, Drew, what do you think the chances are that you're going to try this and be like, that's pretty good, and have a new way to eat chicken nuggets?
I'm kind of nervous because like the fries are good. And like, I was lucky that we got like fresh French fries when we went. We went through the drive-thru, and then like the nuggets are usually fine. I haven't had Dr. Pepper in a really long time. So like, this is like, like it tastes really, really good. I forgot how good it tastes. So like, there's a part of me that's worried that I'm going to take a bite here and it's going to be like, oh, that's not horrible. Right. Like, I'm not expecting like the worst thing I've ever had, but also like,
I have only one request. If you puke, just turn your camera off. I don't want to see a puke on it.
I have a puke bag ready on the off chance that it comes right back up, but
okay.
I don't know. Okay, here's the first one. Do I have to eat all 6 on camera?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What are we going to talk about while I try to stomach this stuff?
We got some questions in the chat.
Just laugh. I don't know. See, I don't think this is
not good.
It's not good. Yeah,
it's not horrible, but it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, they're chicken nuggets, man. It's not a delicacy that you're like. It's not like you're taking a filet mignon and dropping it in mayo or something.
Somebody in the chat said that McDonald's needs to start offering this, or at least like the Columbia-based McDonald's, as Drew's delicacy. Like that's what it needs to be. Number 2.
I mean, to me, this was an easy choice of the punishment. Like these 6 nuggets are going to take Cody 2.5 minutes. Watching the movie alone would be 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Also, like, I didn't want to sit through that movie. I'm okay. I think I started to say this before I started eating them. Drew texted me that when I was at the gym, and so during my warm up, like it was right as I had walked into the gym when he texted me if I had read the book Dune. No. And so then he sent the email, and I got the email while I was stretching. So before I made the decision to do this, number 3, I looked up like Rotten Tomatoes Dune. I'm like, is this something that I want to like sit and watch, or do I just want to get the chicken nuggets thing out of the way? And as I'm reading Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, absolutely not. Like, let's just eat the nuggets. And that's when I texted Drew. I was like, I might parachute in and just get this over with.
See, like Aaron Kate brings up a good point in the chat. The Dr. Pepper's just the sauce, man. It's just like honey mustard. Just pretend it's honey mustard, and you're all good.
Honey mustard's really good though. It's not. It's like Dr. Pepper is good on its own. The chicken nuggets are good on their own, not together. Like this is rough. This is I don't.
Well,
if
you like it, Cody,
it's not the worst thing I've ever had, but I'm not going to do this again. Like this is. I'm not going to miss an SEC pick at all next season.
I mean, if you haven't puked
Is
after
this 4?
you've had
This is 4.
This is 4.
If you haven't puked after you've had 6, I think there's a possibility that you should have to drink the Dr. Pepper out of the bowl.
Oh, and that's not part of the deal. That was not in the email. That was not in the email.
Okay.
That's true. Cody, I'm curious, like the breading situation. Like, has it gotten soft, or are they still crunchy?
It's soggy. It's the first one was soggy. The chicken, honestly, underneath it tastes fine, but the breading is just, it's got a Dr. Pepper flavor to it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So
5.
Look, I graduated from journalism school a long time ago, so I went through a different curriculum than you guys did. At any point, did they prepare you for the level of professionalism that you're currently doing in performing your job here?
I was not prepared for this at all.
Well, but here's the thing: like Cody and I are internet babies. There's a lot of videos out there of people doing stupider things than this, right? Like this is pretty tame compared to what it's out there on YouTube. But it's up there.
Yeah, look. I mean, there have been times people were talking about eating literal feces based on the outcome.
Yeah, whatever happened to that Florida State guy? Has he returned to Twitter at all?
I think he went away. I hope for his sake he never comes back.
All right. So trying the fries now for the record. How many fries am I supposed to eat? Oh man, those are bad.
The whole thing. What you mean?
Overall review, like on a scale of how much you would have to be paid to do that again.
I mean, if so, I wouldn't say just buy me the meal and I might do it again, but I don't know. The problem with the fries is the fries are cold now because my Dr. Pepper had ice in it, and so the chicken within the nuggets stayed warm for the most part, and then the breading just got soaked in the Dr. Pepper. But the fries are cold. Like I'm eating cold potatoes right now. Yeah. And I don't necessarily like that.
Yeah. Well, and it was November in DC, so my fries were already cold when they showed up. And then
Drew, I gotta know, man, did you actually finish the food?
No.
Like, were you that hungry?
No, I wrote like I had a bag of pretzels instead.
Okay.
From the mini mart.
Did you even try it?
I think I tried the fries, but I was like, this ain't it. I couldn't get past like the soggy breading on the McNuggets. Like that wasn't for me personally. And I'm someone who's like very picky about food, and only eats chicken nuggets for dinner. So
I had forgotten that aspect of it. You better hope to God you win this contest every year, or we could have some real problems on this show.
That's kind of why.
Hey man,
that's why I have to win it this year.
Get the dub when you can. Get the dub when you can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is while I'm finishing my fries, and we're still kind of at halftime here before you like pivot to the rest of the show. I'm curious, what'd you guys think of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament? I was busy watching wrestling, so I'm curious what you guys thought.
I thought it went back and forth between really good and really not very good. Like there were a handful of great games, but overall it was kind of a so-so weekend, I thought.
Saturday was incredible. Oh my gosh. Like the number of tight competitive games. Like really a lot of the second round was fun like that. Like Iowa, Florida was awesome. The Vanderbilt game where they lost to Nebraska was awesome.
I fell asleep on Vanderbilt, Nebraska. I couldn't make it any longer.
But yeah, I obviously like the first round didn't have a ton of upsets, had a lot of blowouts, and that happens every now and then. But the second round I thought was as good as it gets.
Kentucky Santa Clara was phenomenal. I mean, come on, man. The kid for St. John's, that was fantastic. The worst defensive possession in Kansas history. You're not going to finish off the Dr. Pepper. You're gonna leave that.
Drew, is that part of the deal?
Just a little sip for the camera, Cody. Just a little.
If you want extra credit.
Yeah.
I want there to be like breading floating in it.
There is for one. I was trying to I don't know how to angle it so that you can see, but like there's
you chew up that Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
There's crumbs in there.
Crumbs.
That was not the Dr. Pepper I know and love. That was horrible. That was awful.
I mean, that seems to me like that's a solid punishment because it's not fun. You didn't enjoy it, but like you're not going to die from it. It's not the worst.
Like,
right.
This is what I get for losing. Just like I get to come on the show. I get to give you guys a fun little halftime show and embarrass myself. And this is what I get.
Cody, would you have still picked the Nuggets if you had to eat 2 to 4 more? Because that's the choice that Blake and Sean have to make.
Knowing what I know now, I would probably. Man, the fries just really soured the whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like the nuggets were honestly fine.
Okay.
But like the fries were horrible. Like, ugh.
I feel like you really prolonged the process. Like I'm gonna video myself doing it, and those 4 things are gonna be gone in like 80 seconds, man. It's just there's gonna be no commentary on my end. Like,
well, I figured like best to just like get it done with, and like Drew's like, you got to record yourself so we can put it on YouTube. I'm like, I'm not recording myself doing this. I'm just gonna come on and do it live. Like
one of my favorite like fantasy football punishments, whatever stuff like that, is where like you pick your friend's clothes that they have to wear while waiting for a flight. I don't know if you guys see those.
I'm not.
You'd like pick out a shirt and the other person has to sit in the airport waiting for the flight wearing that shirt. There are some offensive shirts that get picked out.
We haven't done a fantasy football punishment in a few years. But we used to do like really dumb stuff like that. Yeah. Just to like make you feel embarrassed for a day, like something simple.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you being the guinea pig, man. That was
thanks, Cody.
That was a good little. We needed content tonight.
That was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So okay, I'll survive there. Honestly, like the cold, soggy fries were the worst part of it. But yeah, I think if given the option of a really bad movie or that, I'd probably do that again.
So was that dinner or are you actually eating?
Yeah, that's outside? A good question.
I'm gonna go find something better to eat. So Haley's a phenomenal cook, as Drew knows. Drew
I was wondering, like, did Haley have like a McChicken for dinner?
She did. Yeah, she had a McChicken. She had a couple other. She had another thing of McNuggets. So like we did the 2 for $6 deal, and we just got 2 sets of 10 McNuggets. So, okay. But yeah, I'm gonna go find something a little bit healthier and a little bit more like filling, because that I'm
assuming she didn't dip hers in soda.
I hope not, but I don't. When I told her about this, she's like, "You have to do what?" I'm like, well, I can record it by myself, or I can just go and do it live on the show tonight. And she's like, "All right." So, I don't even know if she's watching. Maybe she is.
What did you do at work this week? I just ate Dr. Pepper and chicken nuggets on YouTube.
How was your Monday?
I think you're an influencer now, Cody.
If this causes me to jump into the influencer sphere, then it's something they didn't. I wouldn't know what to do. They didn't prepare me for that in J school.
Yeah, they need better influencers.
I'm really hoping we get at least one person who picks the movie, because I was really proud of the picks that I had.
I didn't even look at what you picked for me. I skipped right over it. I'm like,
I gave you 2001: A Space Odyssey, which some people consider a masterpiece. Other people, including me, consider like a kind of a big waste of time. But
sci-fi is not my jam. I would not enjoy any bit of that. So yeah. All right. Well, Cody, appreciate you, man. I don't know if it was good or bad, but we appreciate you doing it.
It was something. So I'm glad I could be tonight's halftime entertainment. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the questions as you round up Mizzou's basketball season. So
that was magical.
All right, man.
This is March.
Well, we're gonna have to start coming up with ideas for the show. So, Cody, if you can still hear me, better ideas than eating disgusting food. Although this could become a regular segment. We'll see how it goes. Just the worst thing you can think of to eat on the live show. All right.
Maybe next time we'll get Blake or Sean on, and they can tell us about what they watched, or maybe they eat their McNuggets on camera. Yeah.
There you go. Billy, let's start hitting the questions. These people sat through 20 minutes of us being complete idiots, so let's reward them by answering their questions here. CPR 56, how much of a chance does Mizzou have to get Quentin Coleman? So if you guys are on our site, I don't know, 5-6 hours ago, I posted Dennis Gates was at Principia today to see Quentin Coleman. There will be a visit from Quentin Coleman to Missouri at some point. I do not have a firm date on that. I can report it will happen in the relatively near future. I don't know exactly when yet. Texas Tech is in the picture. Illinois is in the picture. There are some other schools attempting to get in the picture. Right now, those are the top three. Drew, I know we've talked a lot about like how many high school kids do you take, but dude, if you can get 3 of the top 30 high school players in the country, I think you do it. I mean, I think Quentin Coleman helps you next year.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to the Norm Stewart Classic in December when Jason Crow went up against Quentin Coleman, and it was pretty clear there, at least on the same level, right? I thought that
Quentin Coleman was the best player in the building that night.
Yes, and so like you talk about a guy who was relatively unknown this time a year ago. Like he was a top 150 kid, but I don't think that people were projecting him to be a significant contributor as a freshman.
He blew up at Peach Jam.
Absolutely went on a tear at Peach Jam. Picked up offers from Illinois and Tech, ended up committing to Wake Forest, and then asked out of his letter of intent or whatever they got a sign now that says they're committed to the school. Yeah, so I think that there's obviously some momentum between him and Missouri, but I think that to have him and Jason Crow in the backcourt would be pretty exciting. And Quentin Coleman's not exactly getting, the one and done buzz that Jason Crow is. And so if Crow leaves in a year, like you still have this really good guard that can help you out in the future after next season. So I think
it does with Scotty Atkinson.
Right. And you pair him with Scotty Atkinson. So I think it makes a lot of sense to bring him in. And I think somebody on the board used our class calculator and said that if they do get him, like this winds up being the top 3 class in the country, which you gotta do that anytime you can. So yeah, I think that like I said, it just makes a lot of sense to take him.
All right, let me interrupt the questions real quick to put Aaron Cate's comment on the show. Next week he needs to eat bugs. What are we doing, man? This is a leap that I did not see. Eat bugs? Like at least what he ate tonight was food.
Hey man, like we talked about delicacies. There's some insects that are a delicacy in some cultures. Like
Next week he needs to eat bugs. Don't take your anger out on Cody. Aaron, what did he do to you, man? All right, let's go back to the more rational responses that don't have us eating disgusting foods in front of everybody and pop up some more questions from people. Let's see. Okay. Kyler, how many returners on next year's roster? So Trip Pierce is coming back. That's the one I'm most confident in, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Next most confident would be Teal Barrett.
I would go with that too. Yeah. Although, like, here's the thing, because there's been a lot of discussion, at least on the board and on the internet, about like, do you bring back both T.O. Barrett and Ant Robinson? And if
my answer is no.
And if not, like, who would you be more likely to bring back, right? And I think if you're talking about who's a better fit next to Jason Crow, I think I would go Ant Robinson. But at the same time, like, T.O. Barrett's a really, really good player, and I wouldn't want to just quit on him either. So, yeah, I would kind of put it at a toss-up.
And T.O. has 2 years left. And Ant, look, man, and I guess it's not impossible that they bring both of them back. I don't think I would, because look, we just went into the NCAA tournament and all week I said point guard scares me. Like, so to me, I'm not bringing the same guys back next year when frankly it didn't go very well. Now Ant played pretty well, but I mean, Ant has 1 year left. And what do you do if you get into next year and 7 games into next season, you go, oh no, it's happening again. You know, I mean, again, we said after the show, after the game on Friday night, I won't stand on the table for anybody, But I think that the other point here is when you're talking about Ant and T.O., it's not just up to like the coaches don't get just to bring back everybody they want. The kids have to want to come back too. And I think there's certainly a 50-50 chance that Ant Robinson's like, you know what, man, I'm going to take a shot somewhere else for my last year.
Yeah, absolutely. That was going to be the point I made. Was just like, even if Mizzou wants him back, it's not a guarantee that Ant's going to just say like, "Yep, I'm coming back, no problems." Like, there's a lot that's going to go on with him, and so I don't know. I would put Ant Robinson kind of further down the list behind T.O. Barrett, but I don't know that I would call T.O. Barrett a surefire thing either. And so I would say third, though, whether it's T.O. or Ant at number 2, I think third has to be Trent Burns. I think that I know that he kind of
I think we differ on whether we would do it or not, but yes.
Yes.
I think they'll do it.
He's 7'5" and played his first season of ball and had some flashes this season. So I think that they're going to bring him back for sure. Everyone else, I have no idea. Like,
look, I think Honor Boateng is back because we saw him. He was walking without crutches, good sign. But I just think the circumstances, like, I know we don't talk about the human side of it anymore, but it still has to matter sometimes. And where's the kid going to go? And you can't tell him he can't come back. He had a horrific injury. He's going to be here next year, I think.
Yeah. Okay. But here's my point, I guess, on this matter. So there's Honor Boateng, there's Luke Northweather, there's Sebastian Mack, there's Aaron Rowe. Like, you looked at the bench for Mizzou this year, and there's half the team that's not playing at all. And
you can't have 6 of those guys, but you can have a couple.
You can have a couple. But I guess that's my point is how many of them do you hold on to? And, like, if is it worth it to hang on to an Honor Boateng over, like, whatever chance you have with Aaron Rowe or Nick Randall, right? And seeing, like, are they capable of helping you next season? Because Honor Boateng, I'm guessing, is going to miss at least part of the season coming back from injury.
He is number 1 on that list of, like, guys who may not help you next year. Yes, I would keep him above all the rest because I think you owe that to him. Regardless of whether he sees the court at all next year. Like, he destroyed his knee playing for you, and it, I think, probably hampers his ability to go anywhere else. He is number 1 on that list for me. I give him a spot on the roster, whether it's spot 11 or spot 15. Yes, I'm keeping him before I'm keeping it. Now, you said, how many do you keep? How many do I keep? I think is a different conversation than how many will Dennis Gates keep.
Well, and it's a different conversation for me. Like, I would keep Honor Boateng too, but also, like, this is a business and there are, like, millions of dollars on the line for this coaching staff. Like, they got to treat it like a business too. So I don't know. My point is, I don't know that it's for sure that Boateng is back. That's all.
But you also have to treat it like, I still need to convince kids to come here. I need to convince Quentin Coleman to come here every year. And if he watches me take this kid who ripped his knee during a game and tell him to get out, does he want to come play for me? I think that matters.
But Gabe, like, Boateng wasn't playing all that much anyway, right? Like, did you feel bad when, like, Caleb Brown got sent away from the team after a stress fracture?
No, because that was stress fracture. No, like, no.
Okay.
I think it's different.
Okay. That's fine.
Maybe it's not, but in my mind it is.
Okay.
But, we'll see. I mean, how many returners is really the question, because I'm sorry, you cannot keep all those guys. You can't keep them all.
No.
If you do, you are hamstringing your roster going into next season. So, Sam MIZ, any news on us being in on Biddle from Oregon? Drew, I legitimately have no idea what this is even about or who it's about. I don't know if you know.
I do know who Nate Biddle is. I don't think he's got any more eligibility. I think he might be getting confused with Kwame Evans, who entered the transfer portal today from Oregon, who's a different forward.
Did
and
Missouri recruit him at some time, or does he just? Oh no, I'm thinking of Dennis Evans. That Missouri.
Yes, that's who you're thinking of. Kwame Evans, though, was like a former 5-star and averaged 14 points to 7 rebounds. And I think that there's going to be a lot of teams who are interested in him, and Mizzou might be one of them. But Nate Biddle, I don't think is entering the transfer portal. I think he's done with college basketball.
And we will start over the next week seeing some kids enter the portal and hopefully start hearing like Missouri tied to some guys and all of that. Have not seen any of that yet. Danny Ragland, what's the hit rate for elite 5-star players of Crow's caliber? So I actually saw this question and started to look it up. So here's the top 10 from last year. Darren Peterson, hit talent wise,
yes.
like the drama, all that, but hit talent wise, he's going to play in the NBA. AJ DeBonsa, across the board unanimous hit, correct?
Yes.
Cameron Boozer, no doubt hit. Nate Amon, no doubt hit. Darius Acup, no doubt hit. Michael Brown Jr. for Louisville, Louisville's best player, no doubt hit. Chris Senac Jr. for Houston, no doubt hit, playing on the Sweet 16 team.
Yeah.
Caleb Wilson, North Carolina, no doubt hit. Braden Burries, Arizona, no doubt hit. This is the first one that I don't know, Drew. You probably know because you just pay a little more attention. Elijah Arenas, Southern Cal. How was he this year?
Well, he's Gilbert Arenas' son, and he was really good. Yeah, he's also he's not going to be a one and done guy, but he's a pretty good college basketball player.
Okay, Koa Pete hit.
Yep.
Braylon Mullins, he's playing for UConn. Saw him hit like 6 shots last night. Hit.
Yeah, he's
Malik Thomas hit. Okay. Yeah. Tunde Yesufu from Baylor. I don't know how he was this year.
Baylor wasn't good, and
I know
Yesufu was a little disappointing, but he's still another really good player.
Okay, Nicholas Kaminia, Duke. I'm going to assume he was good. I don't know.
I don't say his name again.
Okay, Nicholas Kaminia.
Okay.
Khamenia. So basically, guys, we had to get to number 15 before there was a guy that we didn't automatically just go, yep, he was good.
Right.
If Jason Crow misses as the 6th ranked player in the country, like, that's real bad luck, man. Something went wrong if he's not pretty damn good next year.
Yeah, and I've been looking it up, looking for it, because I had the full list of like guards who were in the top 10 over the past 5 years, and I think like out of all of them, there were maybe 2 who like just didn't pan out. So yeah, like the hit rate for guards that are ranked this high is really, really good. It's almost as much of a sure thing as you can get in college basketball. So we're feeling pretty good about Crow.
Yeah, Michael Brown Jr. was the number 6 player in the country, which I think is where we have Crow. Does that sound right? Now he's at 6?
I think something like that, yeah.
Okay, so Michael Brown Jr. played 21 games for Louisville. He's 6'5", 190 pounds. 21 games, 18.2 points, 4.7 assists, 3.3 rebounds, shot 41% from the floor, 34% from the field, 84% from the line. I don't think it's out of line to expect that out of Jason Crow Jr. next year.
Yeah, I think that's on par. By the way, Nicholas Kaminia averaged 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He's a bench player. So
on one of the 3 best teams in the country.
Correct.
Yeah. So, basically if you're a top 15 kid, and that's the difference. Like it doesn't take time. You should be good. I think people get confused in recruiting and they see top 100 kid. Like Ant Robinson was number 150 in his class and people are now disappointed in him. It's like, no, he actually probably was about what he should have been coming out of high school. Like 150 is not an NBA player. 30 is an NBA player, right? 15, I think 15 or 20 is the cutoff where you go, okay, kids below that might take a year or two.
Mhm.
If you are ranked where Jason Crow is ranked, you are supposed to be good, and you are supposed to be good next year.
And I will say, Gabe, like year to year, some classes are better than others. This is being talked about as like one of the best classes of all time. This
Fair.
next class is being talked about as not that. And there's like they've had a hard time deciding on who the number one player is. But again, like over the course of history, again, like guards in the top 10 almost always pan out. So again, we feel pretty good about Jason Crow.
So I'll go back to the year before. Number 1, Cooper Flagg, stud. Number 2, Ace Bailey. Like Rutgers kind of sucked, but he's in the NBA. Number 3, Dylan Harper. Again, Rutgers sucked. He's in the NBA.
Yeah, it wasn't Dylan Harper's fault. Yeah.
Right. Number 4, come on. I don't know how
Malawak.
his name. Malawak. Yeah, from Duke, was very good. Number 5 was VJ Edgecombe from Baylor, stud. Number 6 was Trey Johnson at Texas, led the team, maybe led the SEC in scoring. So, like, again, that's like Liam McNeely was number 10. Jaden Quaintance was number 9. Derek Queen was 12. If you're in the top 15, there's never a 100% rate, but it is an incredibly high hit.
Yeah. And so here's what the question with Crow is for me, right? It's not a question of talent because Crow can hit every shot in the book, right? The big question for me is, this is going to be a new word for a lot of people. Is it going to be as heliocentric as it was in high school for him, right? And what I mean by that is like Crow almost always has the ball in his hands at Inglewood High School. That's not going to be the case at Mizzou.
Correct.
So it's going to be on Gates to find players who can take the pressure off of him. And so that's kind of what I think the biggest question is heading into this offseason, and kind of what they're looking for in the portal is like, do you think that Ant Robinson and T.O. Barrett is enough, or T.O. Barrett, right? And maybe Aaron Rowe if he sticks around.
It's not enough.
I don't think so. So who's the guy that you can get in the portal that's going to help him there? Right. And maybe it's Quinn Coleman.
Right. And also, like, I think he's a better passer than people realize, because he just, like, why would you pass when every other player on your team is worse than you? But I saw him play AAU ball, and he's a good passer. What I will be interested to see is, my guess is, I watched his AAU team and I watched his high school team. I'm not sure he's ever been asked to play defense. So I'll be interested to see. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I don't know that he's been on a team where that's a thing they've done. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. All right, Billy, let's kind of zip through these like lightning round. We spent a lot of time watching Cody eat his disgusting dinner, so I want to finish these. Have this team of all teams be the first in Missouri history to be the first to win at Rupp. And look, I've read ahead. There's a pattern forming in these questions. This team didn't suck. This wasn't a disaster of a year. Guys, I've watched awful Missouri basketball. Even Drew's only been here 4 years, and he had a full year of watching awful Missouri basketball. Like, Kentucky wasn't all that. They were just fine, too. I'm not shocked that they won at Rupp. This was a decent team that beat another decent team.
Kentucky was, an Ortega away half-court shot at the buzzer from finishing the exact same way Mizzou finished, right? Like,
to a worse team.
And so I guess, like, my point is, like, you had Mark Mitchell this year, and that made up for a lot of the flaws that this team had. And for a while, like, Jaden Stone was an all-SEC level player. Like, this team had some talent for sure. It also had a lot of limitations, and the margin for error wasn't all that high. But at Kentucky, like, I think that they got the job done. Like, that's just how it works.
Like, it was Kentucky in that game. Kentucky did what Missouri did on Friday night. They got to the last 4 minutes and just, like, they didn't do anything from there. They just went away. They vacated the premises. All right, let's keep rolling through the questions. MIZ Joe, the fan support to team success ratio with Mizzou basketball is way out of whack. Do you think this sustained failure will? This is not sustained failure. This is sustained not as good as you want. You need to see another level. Guys, Kim Anderson was sustained failure. The last 4 years of Quinn Snyder was sustained failure. Missouri went 4 years under Quinn Snyder and the first 2 under Mike Anderson without a tournament. That was 6 straight years. That is sustained failure, not 3 tournaments in 4. We've got to quit using words like failure and disappointment and disaster. Disappointment, maybe you can use, but like failure, disaster, all that, none of these words are right.
Yeah, and I'll just throw out again, like I did the research. I looked at like coaching hires from 2021 through 2023 and like how often did those guys get 3 out of 4 NCAA tournaments? And I think it was like 7 out of 28. Like 25% of coaches are able to do that. So I think that failure is definitely a strong word.
Yeah, like again, you want another level. You want to see if we are sitting here 2 years from now, and what you've got is another 2 10 seeds and first round losses, then yes, I'm willing to have that conversation at that point. But we're not there. I object to the word failure. I just don't think it fits where this program has been. All right. Why'd they drop out of the players tournament? I look from what I've heard, I think just the terms, the agreement just didn't work out. Like they said they were going to play, but they never actually finalized the deal and it didn't happen. I have to assume that has to do with something financial.
I mean, from what I remember, the tournament is asking schools to sign a 4-year deal. I think they're trying to expand it to 32 teams, and they're promising every team $1 million in NIL funds if they come play.
And I'm not sure those teams got paid.
I'm not 100% sure. They did the first year they put it on, but that was when it was only 4 teams. And so if you're talking about 32 teams and $1 million each every single year, like I don't exactly know where the money's coming from. And that's why Duke isn't in that tournament, and I don't think Kentucky's in that tournament, and that they aren't teams that are wanting for money. But I also think it kind of shows that it's not completely trustworthy, I guess.
Also, $1 million ain't even buying you
a starter.
It'll buy you maybe a starter. Yeah. How much? Playing devil's advocate, Pod, how much is Mizzou financially invested in basketball? I think we're going to find out in the next month and a half, right? In the portal.
I would think so.
I think they need 2 starters in the portal. Do you agree?
At least, yeah. I would say 3, maybe 4, because after
I think Crow's a starter, and I'm fine with Trent Pierce starting next year.
Yeah. I think that's correct.
And then if somebody else, whatever, Tony Bryant, if Nick Randall is a different player, whatever, but minimum 2.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, I'm going to write my column this week, and it's going to be the biggest questions heading into the off season. I'm genuinely curious, what kind of a difference does Tim Fuller and his connection to Bill Laurie make, right? And what does that actually do for Mizzou? And what does it allow Dennis Gates, player-wise, to get that he wasn't before? And that's what I think is kind of the biggest question going into this portal season.
And we're not fully going to have an answer because we don't know the numbers, but you'll be able to tell, right?
Right.
You can tell the difference between shopping at the nice store and shopping at
the Ross Dress for Less versus TJ Maxx.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going to throw out. I'm not going to throw any specific businesses under the bus.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So I don't care. You can. Who are all these good players that a broke basketball team has brought in? You are getting them mixed up with the football team. Drew, can you make more sense of this comment than I
Who are
can?
all the good players that a broke basketball team has brought in? You're getting them mixed up with the football team who gets all the money. I guess he's saying that Mizzou's not going to get 3 to 4 starters with the budget they have. That would be my guess at what he's saying.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. Does Drew love this team even more because it vindicated him?
No, because I need to stop going on rants. First of all, like I do not like the response I normally get when I have a strong opinion like that. And look, I mean, I'll admit, like I backpedaled on the team too after the Illinois game. Like I didn't think they were going to make the NCAA tournament, but so no, I wouldn't say I love the team because I was right about not throwing the towel in after 2 losses.
Okay.
I won't be doing that rant in the future, by the way.
I also clearly didn't throw the towel in. There's no proof of it at all anywhere on YouTube. All right, Drew, let's finish up with this. Is there anything you would like to pat yourself on the back for tonight?
Tonight? Just for like the season as a whole?
I just hope everybody gets the reference here. Is there anything you'd like to pat yourself on the back for that you've done a good job of that maybe nobody else could do?
I see what you're saying. I would like to pat myself on the back for coming up with the punishment of Cody eating 6 McNuggets soaked in Dr. Pepper. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I'd like to pat us on the back for going an hour and 10 minutes of with like, hey guys, this is I don't know. We're gonna do some dumb stuff over the next few months because, like, again, I'm not previewing softball games. We're just, I mean, we're going to try to get some interviews and some interesting guests and some different stuff for you, but we're going to do some stupid stuff too, because it's kind of what we do here. It's how we get through the off season. So appreciate you hanging out with us. While you're here, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I want to thank Cody for eating dinner with us. Thank Billy for joining us and running the show. He owed us after I told him he did not have to stay up until 2 a.m. on the post-game show after the game. So, Billy, appreciate you hanging out. And once again, want to thank our buddy James Carlton. His information has been running across the bottom of the screen the entire time if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, if you are listening on the podcast, and this will be there later tonight, give James a call at 314-961-4800. Check him out at carltoninsurance.net or swing by his office in Webster Groves, Missouri. Tell him we sent you. He actually hit me up a couple weeks ago, said that there have been some people from Mizzou that have hit him up and said they heard about him on the show. And so we would like you to be one of those people. Drew, did you have a comment or a question?
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Michael Brandlinger 540 in the chat, who earlier had the comment of Power Mizzou fear factor in all caps. So
yeah, and look, this is not an open invitation for you guys to nominate stuff for us to eat. It's not going to happen. Aaron, Kate, we're not eating bugs on the damn show. That's all I'm saying. So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you next time.